Hello BookTube, I'm Jonathan and welcome to Words in Time. Now in today's video, I'm going to be sharing the 5 sci-fi authors I need to read. Now I'm sure as we're all fighting that never-ending battle with our TBR lists, we each have those authors that stand out that we haven't read yet for whatever reason because they're either a big name in the genre, fantasy, sci-fi, whatever you enjoy reading, or it's just an author that you think you're going to enjoy, you just haven't gotten around to yet. Well, I have read a lot of sci-fi books, but there's too much good sci-fi and not enough time because there are still some names that I really want to get to that I haven't read yet. I need to make time for them, and I want you guys to help me out by letting me know which of these 5 authors I should prioritize on my TBR list. So let's get into them. Up first, we have Douglas Adams, best known for The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Now, I do have a reason why I haven't read this yet. Not a good reason, but here is the reason. I was on a flight from Los Angeles to Sydney, quite a long one, and I tried to watch the film adaptation on a plane, which admittedly, A, not the best environment to watch a film in, and B, not necessarily the best representation of the source material. And for whatever reason, while I was on that flight, I couldn't really get into the film, the humor wasn't really landing for me, and I know that that is a big appeal of the book. So I've kind of put it off, but luckily when I made my top 10 sci-fi titles video and included The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, some of you let me know that I shouldn't let the film put me off and that I definitely still need to read this book. So I definitely will be getting around to The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy at some point. I am intrigued to read it, and I also want to know your thoughts on the series, because the first book is quite well known, but I know there's a number of books in the series, so let me know if I need to not just add the first one, but add the whole series to my TBR. I'd love to get your thoughts and recommendations. So Douglas Adams, you're going on the TBR soon. Second on the list, we have Michael Crichton. Now, I'm not sure why I haven't gone around to reading Crichton yet, because the subgenre he's known for, techno-thriller, sounds pretty awesome in and of itself. So I definitely need to get around to reading Crichton. I'm a big fan of Jurassic Park, and this is one that I have rectified already. If you saw my recent book haul by the beach video, you'll know that I recently picked up Sphere. So I'll be reading that one later in the year. I'm excited to get around to it, and I want you guys to let me know what other Crichton books I should be on the lookout for. I'm definitely going to be reading Jurassic Park at some point, but the Andromeda Strain and Timeline also sound pretty interesting. I'm a big fan of time travel stories, so that one's definitely got my attention. So let me know your thoughts on Michael Crichton. I generally hear pretty positive things. The only slight criticism that I've heard come up a couple of times is that he has awesome premises but doesn't always stick the landing. So let me know whether you think that is a fair assessment, and let me know if you're a fan of Crichton and which of his books I should try after Sphere. Third on the list, we have Robert A. Heinlein. Now, I know this is a bit of a polarizing one because I know people that love Heinlein and I know people that hate Heinlein. To be honest, I'm not sure if he's going to be an author that will click for me, but I definitely need to give him a try because he's considered one of the 3 greats of classic sci-fi. We have Asimov, Heinlein, and Clarke. Now, personally, I like Asimov, I love Clarke, so it'll be interesting to see what I think of Heinlein. I know that 4 of his novels won the Hugo Award, and probably I think his 3 most famous ones are Stranger in a Strange Land, The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, and Starship Troopers. So let me know if you think one of those is where I should start, or I know he has a couple of others that are fairly well regarded as well, like Double Star and Time Enough for Love. So I know people can go both ways on this one. Let me know which side you've picked when it comes to Heinlein, and if you had to recommend one of his books, which one do you think is best to start with? Fourth on the list, we have Mary Shelley, most well known for Frankenstein. Now, I'll let you guys fight in the comments over whether Frankenstein is actually the first ever science fiction novel to be written, but it is generally agreed upon to at least be one of the earliest and most well-known examples of science fiction in literature. So I definitely want to read this one to round out my history and knowledge of the genre, because I read a lot of modern sci-fi, I read a lot of classic sci-fi, but I haven't read a ton of 19th century sci-fi. I've read a little bit of H.G. Wells, Jules Verne, but I really want to read Mary Shelley. not just for the historical aspects, because also Frankenstein just sounds like a pretty cool story. So let me know if you've read Frankenstein, and let me know if you've read anything else by Mary Shelley, because she did publish several other books, including The Last Man, which sounds kind of interesting as well. So let me know your thoughts on Frankenstein and any other of Mary Shelley's works. And the fifth and final sci-fi author on my list is Neal Stephenson. This is another one that can be a little bit polarizing. I've seen a fair amount of 1-star and a fair amount of 5-star reviews for Neal Stephenson books. Now, if you happen to see my latest book haul video, you'll know this is another one that I've decided to fix because I did go ahead and pick up Snow Crash. So there's a couple of reasons why I decided to go with Snow Crash. One, I'm interested in cyberpunk as a genre. Two, the main character is a pizza delivery driver, and I used to be a pizza delivery driver. And three, it's only around 500 pages. Some of Stevenson's other books, like Cryptonomicon, Anathem, Seven Eves, The Diamond Age, they all look to be around 800 to 1,000 pages, which is pretty chunky. So let me know your thoughts on Neal Stephenson, whether I'm being silly, I shouldn't let the page count scare me away because those books are awesome, or whether I've made a mistake picking up Neal Stephenson at all. Maybe you hate all of those books. Hopefully I can find at least one that works for me, including Snow Crash, the one that I've decided to start with. Looks pretty interesting. We'll see which way I go when I read it later this year. So those are 5 sci-fi authors that I need to read. I'm looking forward to reading your comments and hearing your thoughts on each of them, and I also want to hear what are the authors on your list that you need to get around to. Let me know whatever the genre, and if they happen to be sci-fi, maybe I can give you some recommendations and we can help each other tackle our TBRs. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and you can find more sci-fi content over here.